What is going on, everybody? In today's video, we are going to be talking about what happens if another investor tries to steal your deal. Now, I get a ton of questions about this from mostly newer investors who, they're very concerned that another investor might try to steal their deal. Now, while this may happen before the deal is under contract, maybe there's competition for the deal, and someone else makes an offer before you, that can happen. It happens all the time. So that's why you need to move quickly and get a property under contract and make an offer as soon as you can. But I wouldn't really consider that stealing a deal. Stealing a deal would be, if you have a property under contract and then this other investor somehow tries to go around your back, connect with the seller, and then cancel your contract and get the deal themselves. And I'll tell you this, it almost never happens. When I was first getting started, I was completely paranoid, the same way a lot of newer investors are, that people would try to go behind your back and steal the deal. And from doing a lot of deals, from talking with other investors, it very, very rarely happens. If you do something stupid like publish the deal on Craigslist with the exact address like I did one time, yeah, there's all types of degenerates and people out there that will try to go behind your back and steal the deal. However, that's more of your fault. That's not, you just shouldn't do that. That would be tip number one. Don't publish your deal on Craigslist. But if you do want to be extra sure that you have the property under contract, that no one's going to go around your back, one thing that you can do, and that I did for actually several properties when I was first getting started, is you can go to the courthouse and file what's called, I think it's a Memorandum of Contract. So it's basically like a one-page, I think it's like a one-page agreement. It's like $20, and you give them a copy of your contract, and they kind of put that on file with the courthouse, so that if someone else tries to purchase that house, there's going to be, this document is going to come up and it's going to say, someone else has this property under contract. And my understanding, my interpretation of the law would be that they would either have to pay you out or you would have to sign some form of release to allow this property to be sold. So that's one way you can do it to ensure that no one goes around your back. And at the same time though, I remember I told an investor friend of mine who had done like 500 real estate investment deals. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just go to the courthouse tomorrow, file the Memorandum of Contract. And he was like, what? He's like, you file memorandums of contract for your properties? He's like, that is the most paranoid thing I've ever heard of. He's like, I've done 500 real estate deals and I've only had to do that like once or twice. And I don't even think it was from like a competition trying to steal your deal standpoint. I think it was for some other reason. So you can do that if you want to, be extra sure, but keep in mind, it's very rarely going to happen that someone's going to try to steal your deal. So I'll tell you a quick story. There's been 2 times where people have actually tried to steal my deal. Now, the first time was because I just put the deal on Craigslist and, just a public forum, anonymous public forum. So I guess I shouldn't have been surprised that someone would have tried to steal my deal. The second time someone stole my deal or tried to steal my deal was a builder. So I had sent this builder the property information and everything like that, and they actually went behind my back and actually did steal my deal. However, keep this in mind. The top investors, the top builders, they're just not going to steal your deal. So it's not a good long-term strategy. So it's funny because obviously when I found out they had purchased the house, I was a little pissed. And we could go to court and everything like that, but it's kind of a long story that I won't get into. But something to keep in mind. So this builder that stole my deal, number one, they're not in business anymore. So that should tell you something. Number 2, if you look in the courthouse records, you see some interesting things. Number 3, it's like you look at reviews of these people and there's a lot of cutting corners going on. As far as I know, there may even be pending lawsuits, I'm not sure. So it's just not a good long-term strategy. People that try to steal deals, they're not gonna last. They're not good business people. It's like when you're a little kid and you're a toddler and you steal someone's toy, you go to timeout. That's bad. You shouldn't do that, right? That's what the teacher tells you. And it's the same, when you grow into a mature adult and you steal other people's things, bad things happen. You go out of business, you get lawsuits, you get people giving you bad reviews. So it's not a good long-term strategy. Those types of people don't last. And generally speaking, for the most part, I wouldn't be worried about people stealing your deals. The top investors, it's almost never going to happen from the top investors. You don't become, that's not the way the world works. You don't become a top investor by stealing other people's deals. So it's almost never going to happen from the top investors. Usually it's going to come from what we call the lower rung of society for real estate investors or builders, people that are just not going to last in the business. So if you have any question, maybe you're wholesaling a deal or working with another investor, maybe you look them up online. If you want to be even more in depth, you can look them up in the courthouse records. But for the most part, it's not something you should worry about. Stealing very rarely happens. I would just make sure you have the property under contract before maybe telling investors that you don't know about the property. And if you want to get more sleep at night, maybe you can file a memorandum of contract. And yeah, you know, the investors that are stealing deals, they're not going to last. They might go to prison for various things. They might just go out of business. They won't be around very often, and those are the minority. Most investors are not like that. So I see my competition as my friends. I see my direct competition almost as partners. That's almost a better way to look at a lot of business relationships. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one. All right, bye.